All right, guys, just over 24 hours out from the first round of the NFL draft, and a lot of depth charts are about to be thrown in the air. A clear reset for a lot of NFL teams. We're going to go through my favorite draft pick selections that are going to send shockwaves through the football card market, and we're starting right now. Let's dig in. Welcome to the Football Card Quiz. If you're new here, my name is Andy. If you want to learn more about the implications that the NFL draft is going to have on your football card investment portfolio, collecting football cards, and all other really cool sports card stuff, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that little bell notification icon, so you don't miss out on a single step on the quest. All right, so we're going to go straight through my mock draft and look at the implication I think this is going to have on the football card market as we go through. The number one overall pick goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I do think they keep this pick. I think they go with Aiden Hutchinson, who's been the consensus number one overall pick. Regardless of what they do, this is an improvement to the team, and I think Trevor Lawrence, you can see his prices are now indicative of his draft pedigree with the number one overall pick. At number two, the Detroit Lions. Yes, they've got a need for edge rusher, defensive back, and linebacker, and potentially quarterback, but I think they're content with Jared Goff, and I think there's a lot of teams that are looking to trade up here to grab their guy to make sure they get him. I've actually got them trading back rather with the Seattle Seahawks from 9. Seahawks get number 2 to get Malik Willis to plug in that quarterback hole that they feel they have with only Drew Lock and Geno Smith on the depth chart. They think they're still contenders in Pete Carroll's eyes. That's what he's got them convinced of. And according to PFF's trade analyzer, the Detroit Lions would take their pick from Denver at 40 this year, and their round 1 pick in 2023 could be very good for the Lions. They could get a Bryce Younger, CJ Stroud, or monster quarterback, while stocking up on talent in the trenches this year. With so many needs at every position, I think the Houston Texans go with the best player on the board in Kayvon Thibodeaux from Oregon, defensive edge rusher. They also get to pick again at 13, 37, 68, and 80, so they've got a lot of draft capital to make some moves. Things get really interesting with the Jets at number 4 because they have needs at wide receiver, linebacker, corner. They've got a lot of needs with Kayvon Thibodeaux off the board. I think they go here with Sauce Gardner, the shutdown corner from Cincinnati, because they also pick again at 10, 35, 38, and 69, where there's plenty of wide receiver talent. I've got the Giants at number 5, trading back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for their number 27 pick this year and their round 1 pick next year for a win-now scenario with Tom Brady. Trade up to get Alabama's tackle Evan Neal, one of the best prospects in the draft. This trade would also involve the New York Giants sending James Bradbury, highly regarded cornerback, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, this is where things get really interesting once again because Carolina's only got 1 pick in the first 100 picks of the NFL draft, so they've got to use it very wisely, and they may go quarterback here with Kenny Pickett. There's a lot of distaste for Sam Darnold. Even though they made a sizable investment in him last year, they could go quarterback here, or they could go offensive line and plan to roll out Sam Darnold again, but with a better offensive lines. Or maybe they trade this slot for multiple picks later in the end of the first round and second round because they plan on Kenny Pickett falling to them in the second round. With the Atlanta Falcons at number 8, desperate for wide receiver help, the first wide receiver is taken off the board, and Drake London from USC, 6'4", 213 pounds. London should be a 100 catch, 10 touchdown a season guy sooner rather than later, and the Atlanta Falcons can desperately use that. I think this ultimately leads to a stock increase in Marcus Mariota. After all, he's a dual threat quarterback. He's got the draft pedigree, and I think his stock will continue to rise as people get more excited about him being the starter in Atlanta heading into September. So he could come out of this draft as a winner if they don't draft a quarterback. And if the Seattle Seahawks get to pick again at number 9, and this time they go with offensive tackle Charles Cross from Mississippi State with Malik Willis, this could lead to a lot of excitement for Rashad Penny heading into 2022. Being only a 2018 rookie, did have 6.3 yards per carry in 10 games last year, almost 1,000 rushing yards. Very impressive. He could see a resurgence, especially in a Pete Carroll run-heavy off. That puts the Jets back up at 10, and this time they get their wide receiver in Garrett Wilson from Ohio State. Wilson's ability to generate separation is the best in the class. He also produced at a high level from both the slot and the outside, so they can move him around, mix him in with Elijah Moore and Corey Davis. Ultimately, with the fan base and the market size of the New York Jets, this is going to lead to a stock increase for Zach Wilson, who's got the cheapest rookie ticket auto of all the 5 first-round quarterbacks from 2021. Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and Mac Jones. Zach Wilson has got the cheapest, which makes him the best investment of a young rookie quarterback heading into his second year. At this point, you've got the Commanders with pick number 11, forced with an interesting decision. I think there's some teams calling the Commanders trying to move up into this position because a certain Derek Stingley Jr. is still on the board, and I think that is the Chargers. The Chargers give up their number 17 and their round 2 pick for next year for Derek Stingley Jr. this year to go ahead and make their defense the best in the AFC West. Look, now a lot of this is just speculation, of course, so I'd love to hear your comment about what your favorite draft prop bet or what your favorite draft prediction is in the comments below, and if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Now back to the content. Alright, next up at number 12, we've got the Minnesota Vikings filling a massive hole, consensus hole here at cornerback with Trent McDuffie from Washington. Another potential team that teams could be trading up and back with is the Houston Texans, but I've got them go ahead and taking the next best defensive secondary off the board in Kyle Hamilton, the stud from Notre Dame. The Baltimore Ravens are surely a team that may trade up to try and get one of those elite defensive backs or elite defensive secondary players, but I've got them taking edge defender, edge rusher George Karlaftis from Purdue here at pick number 14. Howie Roseman and the Philadelphia Eagles are notorious for trading back in the draft, but I've got them sticking with their pick here and filling in a hole that they have on their defense in linebacker, going with Devin Lloyd from Utah. They also get to pick again at number 18, 51, 83, and 101, so I feel they go ahead and utilize this pick, but I know they're going to be fielding calls. The Saints here in the middle of the first round are a very interesting one because they've had holes at wide receiver. The offensive line has taken a downgrade. They need help there. And the quarterback position. I think they go ahead with the best straight line speed in the draft here with the helmet, Jameson Williams from Alabama. Now, this could definitely help out the stock of Jameis Winston. If he comes out of this draft a winner, the Saints don't draft a QB, Jameis Winston will be the bona fide starter heading into 2022. With his draft pedigree from 2015, this is going to get a lot of people excited. He's very much a gunslinger, inconsistent, but he's got the upside of putting up 5-6 touchdowns in a game, and with Jameson Williams, this could get people really excited. And you got Mike Thomas presumably healthy this year. The Commanders, having traded out of their prior pick, are now up at 17. I think they go with a wide receiver talent here, especially knowing that they've got Terry McLaurin that they're going to have to pay big dollars, and they may not want to invest that much into him after his rookie contract. I think they go ahead and draft Chris Olave here from Ohio State, who is touted as one of the best route runners in college football. He's one of the most consistent downfield threats in the class. In total, 13 of his 65 catches ended in scores last season. Now, with the Eagles back up at number 18, I think they go here and fill that hole with linebacker Nakobe Dean from Georgia. You can't go wrong with linebackers from Georgia. But you can see this is a repetitive pick, so this is why I could see the Eagles potentially trading back out of this slot or pivoting and drafting a different need. Ultimately, I think we see Jalen Hurts come away from this draft as a winner. We see his stock rise into September with some potential breakout games in 2022. Another potential possible playoff appearance for the Philadelphia Eagles in 2022 as well, with an even more improved defense. And I love to handcuff my Jalen Hurts investments with backup Gardner Minshew, the Mississippi mustache. You can't go wrong at the current prices of either one of these guys, but I'd handcuff them together. With the Saints back up at pick number 19, I think they go ahead and fill that void in the offensive line with Bernhard Raymond from Central Michigan. Again, boasting well for Jameis Winston in 2022. Now, the Steelers have been rumored to want to trade up to try and get Malik Willis. They also have ties to hometown Kenny Pickett, but I think they go ahead and continue to bolster the defense here, and I think they're going to roll out Mitchell Trubisky. So if Pittsburgh does pass on a quarterback early, maybe doesn't draft one until late or not at all, This is going to bode really well for Mitchell Trubisky heading into 2022. His stock is definitely going to go up and rise into September once we know he's the bona fide starter. However, the shifty New England Patriots are up right after them at pick number 21, but I think they've got to go ahead and take this draft pick and go with Andrew Booth from Clemson to bolster that defensive secondary in that division with the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills. They've got to have someone back there that can defend passes. All right, with the Green Bay Packers up at 22, here's where we get into some really interesting shockwave picks because they have got to fill a massive hole at wide receiver. There's also a ton of wide receiver talent on the board. I think they go with Treylon Burks here, who's got some of the largest catch rate. He's also got the largest top-line speed in the NFL draft this year, a highly regarded prospect from Arkansas. Of course, if you've got Aaron Rodgers in a 3-year window, you really need to build up that offense quickly, and I think they've got to do it in this draft. I do not see them coming out of this first round without a wide receiver. Aaron Rodgers' stock, I think, continues to go up as he's a lock for the Hall of Fame. They're in the NFC North. They should be a lock for the playoffs in 2022 again, especially with some new wide receiver talent. Now, you look at guys that they've recently signed, like Sammy Watkins. I think that you need to sell him now. I think I would be trying to take profits from him now based on his draft pedigree. His age is what concerns me, and the injury history and the fact he's really never produced like a dominant alpha. I want to sell him now. Another guy I want to sell now that doesn't have the draft pedigree and has been inconsistent at times is Allen Lazard. I think he's inflated right now, and I think I want to try and take some profits that I can because I think both of those guys are going to come out of this draft as potential losers based on the wide receivers they draft. You can see here looking at the Prism chart, PSA 10 of Kyler Murray. These are down big time from an average of $1,000 back in September of 2020. Then they went down, but then they picked back up in that draft hype cycle of 2021, up to around 550. Then up again in September, early October when he was in MVP consideration in 21, about 450, but you can see since then they've just declined, and now around 160. So there's a lot of deals to be had on Kyler at around 150, 160. You know that is down 5x from where they were at the last hype cycle of this point last year, and he's only a 2019 rookie, so a lot of time left in the NFL. Big window for him, 10 plus years. I like the 2019 Prism. I like the 2019 Optic even better. You know, that card has considerable scarcity over the 2019 Prism. There's just a lot fewer of those in the market. I believe in 2019, Panini printed a lot less of Optic in the market. And so you can see the PSA 10s for that are a lot harder to find. If we look at that card, look at the PSA 10 available for purchase. Only two, one's a 9, one's an 8. We don't have nearly the amount of transactions either, but you can see the same trend in the chart. So I really like the 2019 Optic for Kyler Murray. If you can find that card for around $100 right now, 100, 150, I think that's a fantastic, especially with the grade, even though it's base. If you got the grade on it, I think that's a fantastic investment for mid to long term. He's the type of guy that I could see appreciating value heading into September, with the potential breakout in September, and his values go right back to where they were in the hype cycle from last year. So that's my projection for Kyler Murray. I think whichever direction Dallas goes in the first round and at pick 56 in the second round, it's going to benefit Dak Prescott. And I love looking at these charts for Dak here on VintageCardPrices.com. You see the 10 is down. The SGC 9s, 9.5s, 9s, 8s, they're all down. The BGS 9s, 9.5s, and 10s are all down. So you love seeing that down. That means it's a good time to buy. So let's go look at the PSA 10 chart and let's see what it's doing right now. I love to go back and kind of get the full scope here from 2019 before the boom. You can see that. And then we go through the summer, the initial sports card boom, up to $855, up to an average of $1,200 in September of 2020. That's that market size, that's the DAC. And then the injury happened in early 2020, completely falls off here throughout 2020. That's an anomaly you got to rule out, potential unethical auction there. But we go throughout 2020 with the injury. You know, it just is down, 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 and then it goes back up to 900 here in October of 2021 with great performance from Dak here with the Dallas Cowboys looking like the playoff team, you know, and it just never kept climbing. I think, you know, nobody was willing to reach, and these 2016 Prisms are fairly scarce. I mean, you can see here, there's only 2 available for purchase right now, and that's looking at the PSA 10 and the BGS 9.5, and neither one of them are ending anytime soon here. So it's not an easy card to get in this grade, but if you could have nabbed it for 432 here on April 17th, I mean, you've got a ton of room for growth there. But I kind of like to look at some other stuff for Dak here from 2016, including the Optic, which is a first year, including some of these cards in other grades, and see if there's anything out there. None available for purchase, but look at the chart here. Not a ton of transactions, but 227 for, let's see, is that an SGC 10? So that's actually a really good deal. I love this deal right here, 227 for an SGC 10. That's definitely something to watch. If you can find an auction like that for Dak, I think ultimately his stock is going to go up throughout 2022. Come on, man. They're in the easy division, NFC East. They got the defense is going to be so good again. And Dak is a 5,000 average yard passer since his rookie year. So this is a team going to be in the playoffs. This is a guy that's going to appreciate in value, especially with the largest market in the NFL. He's still pretty young. When you look at quarterbacks, he's still got a big window left, a 10-year window in the NFL. So it's like he's going to be a starter in the league for a long time. He's got a big, long contract now with Dallas Cowboys. Let's look at his... Let's look at that 2016 Optic, guys. Optic Hollow. Ooh, they put the Optic Hollow right on top. Let's see what kind of chart we can get with the Optic Hollow. I love seeing this down, 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 man. That $500 transaction, SGC 10 here for $289. So just not a lot. This card is very scarce. This is the first year of Optic as well. You see the BGS 9.5 is down. I love seeing all these markers down. Let's look at the PSA 10 of this card. Where's it going? 124. The last transaction was on January 24th for 500. You can see this card was up to 1,000 around the beginning of last season. None available for sale. So this is a challenging card to get a good idea of. Let's look at the SGC 9.5. So 272. Oh, that's a BGS 9.5. Very nice card with 4 9.5 subgrades, getting that 9.5 total. 272.58 on that card. That seems like a really solid deal. Nice investment there. I'm curious to see what kind of get out of the charts here and just dig straight into the eBay solds and see what's going on. We got a quantity. We got $39.99 for the Optic Raw on average, or PSA 9, $69.99. Not bad price points, but I like to avoid PSA 9s and go straight for raw. Like right here, we got a lot of 2 for 60, 30 bucks a piece. I think that's a very solid deal that person got, 30. I think that card goes up to a hundo here at some point in 2022. I like it. I get excited about that. Or this purple, because that is Optic and you can make your pictures look a lot better than that. I think ultimately Dak is going to come out of this draft a winner, and his stock is going to rise in fantasy and real life heading into September with, you know, with further potential in 2022 as well with the playoffs and everything. All right, how wild are the rest of my first round picks? I'd love to hear you guys' comments in the section below, but, you know, excited. Of course, it's a ton of speculation and just a ton of research into it, and we don't know which way it's going to go. Like even Daniel Jeremiah with the NFL Network is not right all the time, or Mel Kiper's been notoriously wrong on many different NFL draft prospects before, so hey, who knows? But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.